Okay. So
Yes, ma'am.
thank you for being on. I genuinely thank you. And you didn't have to, but I felt since the moment that I saw you, I knew I needed to have you on. And this process has been such a journey, as life is, as you know. So normally when I start a podcast, I would say, "Hi, I'm Jessica Hope. Welcome to the Cosmic Heart Podcast." But this is going to be different because you're live streaming, so everybody will just catch up.
Beautiful, yeah.
So I mainly felt guided to have you on today because my whole goal for my podcast has been very divinely led. And I know you don't
Mhm.
know a lot about my backstory, but um, I I am a very, very old soul, and I go to who I recognize. And so when I saw you, I knew that you're one that I should have on here. I've been put through the fire, so to speak, uh, literally and metaphorically,
Mhm.
but essentially, my life has led me to basically have to let go of everything that did not serve my highest good, meaning family. I moved here to the coast in California, in Northern California, about 8 months ago. And I had to leave our home. We had 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom home, 17 years of my life that I worked hard for, thousands of dollars of statues and equipment and photography,
Mhm.
all kinds of things that I had worked my life to build up for. I left my job as a nurse. I um, deepened my spiritual path, and I've become a master of so many things in this life and done Monaki shamanism and past life regression, quantum healing, hypnotherapy, all the things, right?
Mm.
Um, and so when I was guided into doing this podcast, it is essentially a bridge to all of the brothers and sisters that are here doing this work, right?
Mm.
So the reason I chose you to be on is because I see the work that you're doing, and I really want to help put you out into the world even further, because I do see that this podcast is meant to become worldwide. And so in time, whatever it's meant to do, it'll do. But I want to basically give my platform an opportunity to understand you and also find more people for you to help your channel grow, your work grow,
Mm.
because I really believe in what you do. And I love and respect what you do so much.
Thank you. And how long ago did you like your spiritual journey? How long ago did everything start changing? Because it seems like how long is it?
My whole life, really.
Yeah.
I mean, ever I was 4, I was 3 and 4 years old, seeing things that my family didn't understand. And I've always been the bridge in my family. So,
Mm.
what they say, the curse breaker and all the game changer and the, the lineage shifter and all the things, right? The black sheep, the rainbow sheep. um, really, I would say, I was about, uh, almost 14,
Mhm.
and I had to get away from the home that I had at the time. The man that my mother was with, he was severely abusive, and so I ran away, and it was
Mm.
in San Diego. And I went through a really, really difficult time. A lot of bad things happened, and I was very traumatized. So when I started deepening my journey, it was around 15. I started awakening deeper. I would talk to my friends and I would say, "Oh, I started realizing I saw things that nobody else saw. I sensed things nobody else sensed, things like that." And I could always say what was going to happen, and I could always look at people and tell them what they had been through in their past, and it would scare some people. But it's like at that point I started recognizing, I'm different, right?
Yeah.
Um, by the age of 21, I want to say 21, 22 is when I met my ex-husband, and he's like the what you would say stereotypical narcissistic personality disorder kind of behavioral traits, right? I don't like labels, but if we're gonna explain
It's fine.
behavior,
Label people is fine.
um, so there was a lot of past life um, things that I did not know consciously at the time. And so when I ended up in the relationship with him, it was like two galaxies colliding and then explosions.
Mm,
So because when you have two souls that are bigger souls and a lot of cataclysmic energy and a lot of chaotic energy from this
mhm,
lifetime and any other lifetimes and previous incarnation and stuff like that, they come together. It's just like it's a lot that happens. So um, through time, I started to have visions and things like that, and I didn't know it was past life. I saw myself in China, and I was a ninja, and I knew I was not just a ninja, but I was dressed as a ninja, and I had a sword, and I was all dressed all in black, and I was it was nighttime, and I always had the same vision when I would lay down next to him at night, and it would only be when he was mad at me. And uh, I realized that it's funny because I do have questions for you, but I'm going with the flow.
yeah.
So I'm
Well,
sharing what I'm
I wanna
learning.
know about you more. You
Yeah,
know
I'm
enough
sharing.
about me, the bald guy.
I know, you know, you're so special. So I would have these visions, right? And it would be like it will only be when he was mad. And I would see myself, I would close my eyes and try to go to sleep. And I would see myself jump off this building, same vision every time. And as I would jump off the building, I would hit the ground and I would, land it. And then I would see the same thing. And I never saw the end until one night he threatened me. And then I was trying to go to sleep that night and I saw the vision and then I saw it play all the way out. And I saw a man come behind me. He was a ninja. He had a cord, the metal cord, and he killed me right there in the light. So years later, I go through learning Reiki and all these things, right? And I have this Reiki master. Her name was Pat Cougar. All these divinely led, trying to help awaken my path. And I get to like level 2 Reiki or whatever. And then the master, she says, "Oh," I said, "there's a child that needs healing and I feel you should do the healing." And she goes, "Your healing is more powerful than mine." And I said, "What?" And she goes, "Just you do the session. Trust me." So years later, after that, all these experiences doing all this work, I used to do donation or not donation. I used to do free healing. They would say
Mhm,
it's donation based. I wouldn't accept payment. I would just go in there and I would have elders who were healing watch me and they would study me because I'm doing all this movement and I'm
mm,
taking blocks out and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm
mhm,
sitting here like, okay, well, first of all, I'm concentrating. But let me explain as I'm working. So it's like, okay, well, when I walked in the room, I see that this man, Tai Chi master, I say, "Okay, I see you have a block here in the root. I see you have issues here in the hip and the knee." I said, "Did something happen?" He said, "Yes, I injured my knee." I said, "How many years ago?" He told me how many years ago. I said, "Okay, we'll handle that." "What happened during that time?" He said, "I was in the middle of making an important decision." I said, "Okay, what was the decision?" He said, "Continue construction work or go to Tai Chi." And they said, "Okay, well, you have a master that's standing behind you. This is your master that is guiding you. This is your soul family. He is the one that guided you to Tai Chi." I said, "Okay, so now that we understand the root, we're gonna go ahead and take care of it." So I removed the block for him. He never paid me. And 2 years consecutively after that, I saw him. He said, "I have never had pain again."
mm,
And so these things deepen my understanding of myself even further because I came to understand, okay, every time I encounter somebody who's a master, right? They're telling me I'm a master, I'm this, I'm that, I'm all these things. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to understand myself further. So then I learned quantum healing hypnotherapy, past life regression. Then I started going through my own past life regression, kicked my whole entire ass. Um, learning past life.
mm,
The universe and source has truly put me through testament after testament after testament of, hard to put it all in words, trusting my path, trusting myself, uh, understanding the reality of all that we are even experiencing here, and truly understanding what this all even is and why we're even a part of it, and what is my purpose of this whole realm in the first place, right? So it took me a lot of work because I published a book and I'm doing all the things I'm guided to do, and it's like, okay, I achieve enlightenment, now what? What do you want from me? I let all my stuff go, all my material possessions. I have me and my children. We lived in a hotel for the last 8 months. We finally get into a home. Now I have a neighbor who's who threatened our life the other day. And I say, okay, source, you show me the way. Because at this point, I know I'm doing my work, but it's like all these testament, 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 testament. It's like, okay, so I can say that I am living proof that and this is what I wanted to talk to you about is I wanted to ask you, well, I was feeling guided to ask you to talk with me with those who will be listening and who are listening now about the road to true enlightenment, and understanding the in-depth reality that it's not all love and light, it's not all rainbows and unicorns, and
Mhm.
it's like, what was your path, and what would your advice be to the people who are going to hear also this podcast, and also who hear your recording of us today? What would your advice and guidance be to those who are just really struggling? Because I know you understand too.
Mhm. Well, thank you for having me here, and it's just one day at a time. A lot of things on the spiritual path doesn't make sense. Is enlightenment possible? What does it mean to awaken? I just know that I don't know how to give up, and if you don't give up, you may actually find the other side, and the other side we don't know is possible, but we just have to have faith in love. It's like believing before we see. And that's why many people don't maybe lose faith because they don't see the results. But imagine that it's as simple as just realizing everything has always been dope. Everything has always been amazing, but the only thing that blocks us is our karma, which is the baggage. Like, why am I born in a family where my mother was very non-supportive? Or, why is my, you know, why am I getting spanked a lot? Why am I getting picked on a lot? So all the misfortunes are happening for a reason, and to keep going and to find people who are loving and humble and be willing to face the difficult truth that's trying to teach you something, right? It's not always love and light. This is why, um, yes, finding a safe space is beautiful, but a safe space can keep you miserable. And so many people in a safe space also end up losing their life, taking their own life, because just because we're comfortable, it doesn't mean we continue the awakening process. So as we support each other, we have this thing called real talk. But before we even get there, just take it one day at a time and have an open mind and be I'm always willing to be wrong. I'm always willing to check my ego. And sometimes we think we know everything, but we have to pay attention. Who do we feel know more? Does the master Thich Nhat Hanh? Are we here to study from Bob Marley? Is this art piece trying to teach me something? But the moment you think you have all the answers, at the end of the day, you don't know. You don't know what is enlightenment. To not know may be the best thing ever.
Mm, mhm. There's, I feel, I want to add to that is like there's two, it's a duality, right? Because when we have so much psychic ability, we can see potential. when you understand, when you get to a point where you realize you can see, right? You can see.
Mhm,
So for me, it's like I actually have access into
mhm,
certain parts of the realm that a lot of souls have not achieved yet.
mhm.
So it's like, yeah, I can see, but people don't understand um,
Yes.
its potentials that you're even seeing because every single circumstance and literally like the choices and the free will of each being involved in such a complex series of events that even lead up to that thing that's going to happen, that's the potential that you can even know or see could happen, does not mean it's for sure going to happen. So it's like, even when you can see, you could see a potential that might be scary, and then you're going to be living your life like that thing is for sure going to happen. Then you're going to make it sure it happens because now you just think, believe it so hard that you already manifested it into your reality. So to what you're saying is truly so much more peaceful, even though people love to be able to know, like they think they can control the circumstances. They can, okay, if I know it can happen, maybe I can avoid it, right? Sometimes it really truly is best to just be in, well, not sometimes. It is truly just best to be in each present moment because in the now is the only thing you have in each moment.
Many brothers and sisters and people inspired to be the light worker, bodhisattva, and healers, we oftentimes forget ourselves. Because
Mhm,
when we start to harness the gift that we have, we're naturally gonna go help everyone else, and we forget to like pour into our cup and overflow because so many healers don't do that. Okay. But when we are able to heal ourselves and forgive and be free, it we cut a lot of negative karma attached to us by learning to forgive our abusers,
mhm.
forgiving others. So if you're trying to heal others while you have a lot of strings that pull you back, that limit you, it blocks your energy.
Yes.
And the only way to unlock that energy is to face the blockage, whether you come from an abusive beginning and we may not know our past life, but at least do with this lifetime. Why is your mother spank you, or why did she put you in a dark corner? What did that cause? And for
Mhm,
us to sit there and observe and then send our self-forgiveness, self-love, self-forgiveness, which is why our motto is love your damn self. Because when you deeply and truly, your light becomes bright and then your cup is overflow, and then, of course, just because we have healing abilities, we're not here to heal everybody. We're here to do with what we can. Because if we try to heal people who aren't ready, we could scare them. If we
mhm,
try to show off healing ability, we could send the wrong message. So you have to know, you have to pay attention. When is it not time to do the healing? When
mhm.
is time? Because if you don't, the consequence that you're going to be attracting a lot of negative energy, that's not good for you. So you have to know there's an appropriate time to do things and to stay humble. Like this is why I never say, I try to remember all the time. It's not me that's healing.
Mhm.
I don't heal. The universal presence works through you and
Right.
it heals. The Buddha nature helps create the sound healing vibes. Me, I'm just an open channel, but we have to learn to be humble because if we're not constantly checking our ego, I begin to heal. And this is that little language change is so important because it's like we're paying attention so much that we're even checking the language we use to be humble.
Right. Very much so. And I just wanted to add for those listening, my personal experience in my path is that when it comes to my teaching and what even just in this lifetime, I always tell people I teach my students or just making a video and teaching people who are listening, right? I always say the same thing. And so I say, it's so many things about you that I resonate with on a soul level because I know that you're a master. And I say it often when I catch you in your lives, when I'm guided in, is I want people to understand. I know you do not pronounce that and declare that out, but you truly are a master. And I appreciate and honor that because it's refreshing when I get to actually connect with others who are from where we came from. So But yes, I always teach my students, you are the channel for divine light. You are the channel for the divine healing. We are, yes, called, quote, the healers, but we are the healers because we are bringing forth the healing because we did the work to become a pure channel for divine light. You can only be called a healer and truly be a healer if you are allowing conducively pure divine energy through your being as a vessel for the healing. But we must never let our ego get in the way to I had to mention this because it comes to me. I love, okay, don't get me wrong, I love his soul, but Master Zigong Sha has allowed his ego, and I've had a conversation with this with my another master. She's 60. Her name's Merly. She's from the Philippines. Shout out to Merly. I love you. Um, she's my best friend. Um, so we've had this conversation many times, and Zigong Sha is doing his work, and I love that he is, but it seems to be that the ego has gotten involved because he it's like he's charged $5,000, $10,000, and all he's doing is giving these mantras, and he's saying, you say the mantra every day and you're going to be healed. And it's like, you know, he's an ascended master, and he, in my soul opinion, I feel like, you know, as you say all the time, and this is why I say it resonates so much too, is because it's like, you know, we're here to do the work. Yes, we all have to eat. Yes, we all have to pay bills. I love that he's making money. That's great. But don't make it like he has these followers that are saying like, oh, the only way to source is through Master Shah. You know, it's like, no, it's not. Don't teach people that. You're source. Teach them the way. Teach them to go within. Teach them to find their connection. If you're going to make money, that's wonderful. But people like that is like they give people like us uh, a different. They have people have a different outlook on us because of stuff like that. So then when we receive money, it almost feels dirty at first until we realize it's okay. You know?
This is why I'm very selective of who I learn from. The master I have that taught me never talk about charging money. If people give, they give. If they don't give, they don't give, because that's the Buddhism, grounded and practical. And the thing is, when people charge money, that's what's there. You know, we've seen that before. We respect that, but we may not be inspired by it because
Yeah,
we start to see it's about the ego gets involved.
right.
And to stay very humble when people are just trying to throw money at you, it's very easy to sell out. Because why? It's difficult. And this is why when you rapidly grow, we may not see the cause and effect of owning like a large property. Now we got bills to pay. Now we need people to maintain it. And so now, because sometimes we start off good, like Oprah Winfrey, I always tell people, she started off helping people, but then out of nowhere, when we follow the money, we lose ourselves to it. And then when other people get involved who don't have peer energy, it can corrupt the whole system, which is
Absolute, yeah,
the
absolute
nature of
corruption.
things, right? Yeah.
Yeah, total and absolute corruption. I wanted to also acknowledge something that you said. I meant to say, I really want to thank you for bringing forth what you said about centering your energy and your love within yourself when it comes to anything, but also your people who have had abuse and things like that. Because
Mm.
even though I know I want to bring this for also the people that listen to the podcast, because this is important and it's something that we need to remember. And I want to elaborate and also just highlight what you said because it's so important. You bring so many pearls of wisdom that I feel like a lot of people they hear and they're like, oh, wow, yeah. And then it's like it's almost cleaned over. So I want to highlight something that you said. Um, when you said focusing and pouring back into your cup. A lot of people know that that's important, but they don't do. And when you said you free your people that have abused you in this lifetime or maybe other lifetime, whatever, it doesn't matter. But when you free yourself from the karmic ties from people who have done abusive things or hurtful things to you, that right there is so much knowledge and wisdom that I really wanna say to that. How that works is when you decide to and I mean fully, completely and totally shift your mind and your consciousness out of a victim mindset, you are able to transcend all of that energy and all the belief systems behind it that are collectively here in this world for yourself. You're actually healing on a planetary scale something that is a belief system that is in this whole hive mind, right? This whole
Mhm.
collective here on the planet. So each time one of us individually, especially those who are what we say are healers, right, are healing this belief system and mindset and energetic code of being a victim into transcendence and total shifting of our entire way of looking at it energetically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually for, okay, what did my soul want me to experience with that? Did I learn something from it? Can I take away something that I like or didn't like about it? Would I ever want my loved ones to go through that? No. Okay. Do I ever want my children to experience that? No. Okay. How can I see this person through the lens of divine love so I can understand that this person, as you already know and have said many times, has been hurt, has been abused themselves, has been whatever the case may be that they carried on and then put off onto you because they themselves were abused, then they transferred that abuse to you subconsciously or consciously, whatever. Now you have this whole shift in paradigm, not just in your mind, but in your whole energy field. Your body then begins to truly heal, your heart, your mind, your spirit. But then when that happens, you're healing it for your generations, for your children, for their children, for your family up in the lineage above, because energy is not linear. It goes all through all the generations, right? And I really just want people to understand fully what that means when you say that, because it is so important that people are getting out of this victim mindset and into awakening the divine knowledge, healing, and source light within them, because that's what this ascension process is about. And one more piece, really quick, that I talk about narcissism a little bit in my podcast because I'm teaching the core root. I'm teaching how to understand so we can transcend.
Mhm.
But I want to help the planet to understand better. When we focus on narcissism and stuff like this in a victim mindset, you will always be a victim and you will
Mhm.
always attract more things to be a victim to. So what you're saying, and I want people to fully soak this in, helps to transcend that as a whole. And it's so important. There's so many things that you say that I'm just like,
The
you
thing is,
literally just
I
said,
don't say I let the universe flow through, and
I
then
know, but
the words come out.
I know you're a channel, but it's
But
like so many
I know to stay
pearls.
humble, to be present, to make sure the energy is grounded, and this is why it comes from the practice of meditation, mindfulness, breathing, and all the details, because if we don't stay grounded, we may you know, the ego can be activated without us knowing, and then we start getting lost, which is
Yes,
why if we don't stay disciplined, it's easy to just lose ourselves. And of course, just because you lose yourself does not mean you can't reconnect. But of course, don't expect things to be the same, because you already the cause and effect already happened. But
right.
just because we get off the wrong track or whatever doesn't mean we can reconnect and do the right thing again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I just had to say that because it's like you say so many things. I'm looking for my
The
little book.
awakening process is just the beginning. It's like a little seed we're planting. If we have this seed of like awakening, enlightenment, and the best life ever, We
Mhm.
have faith in that and we feel a little joy, but imagine it could be a giant, mighty tree, but we have to water it, keep watering it. And sometimes it's stormy. We have to protect the consciousness and stay grounded. And sometimes we put the wrong fertilizer, or sometimes something, you know, something bad happens where we're around a bad energy, we're not protecting the tree, it starts dying, but we have to keep watering it because it's not about growing that seed into a mighty oak tree.
Mhm.
It's about the journey of watering, and when you water with success and the fruits come, people may marvel at the fruit, but the practitioners, they marvel at the process. And that's what
Right.
I'm really into. The process, the practicals that lead to amazing result. Mhm.
Absolutely. Is it all right if I ask you? I know you said you had to go at some point.
No, keep going.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you a few questions. So for you particularly, and this is more about helping people to understand you more, because as I said, this platform
Mhm.
for me is about holding space for those that I really truly want to help put out into the world more.
Mhm.
I wanted to ask you if so these are like kind of like questions that I here and there like to ask. If you had the ability and you had no limit on money, what would your ultimate goal be planetary wide? Like, what would your ultimate goal for yourself be with your work?
If I had unlimited money, um, personally, like I try and I try not to think in that terms because it makes people think we need money to achieve greatness. Because imagine with what you got today, you could do so much for humanity.
Yes.
And so I would continue doing the same thing and slowly grow humbly. Because if you have a lot of money instantly, you don't know how to handle it. What you're the thing that you're building, it may shift its perspective. So you have to slowly and humbly integrate that money into the things you're already doing and slowly grow. Because if you grow too fast, you may not be able to handle that growth. If I got a large sum of money, I wouldn't tell anybody and slowly increase every little thing. Slowly improve the live stream, slowly send some people money here, slowly get better microphones, better video, send some singing bowls to the community, and just say God's plan, right? Stay true to myself. If I have money that makes me not be sassy, make me not lose my who I am, hell no, that's not worth it, right? It's like hitting the lottery and then not learning how to, not learning how to take care of it. So what the lottery is that I woke up today
Hmm.
and that I'm here today in gratitude and joy. Some people wake up and don't even feel gratitude. That's the real lottery, that we wake up and we realize our life is a miracle and the rest is extra. And when that extra comes, you have to learn to make a plan from it. Of course, it would still go to teaching practical, like teaching people to be more practical about helping each other. It's like, how can, like, helping people learn to meditate, teaching people how to be a good father, a good mother. It's about education for me because people who are awake and aware, educated, of course, educated in the way of practical change, how to save money, how to use money. What happens if you don't pay attention in life? You're going to keep making the same mistakes again. And so, what we're already doing, just keep doing that and stay humble, stay humble.
I very, very much respect that answer. I do. I love that answer very much. So, um, oh, I gotta say one thing to what you said. I had that conversation with my partner this morning. He was having a lot of anxiety and stress over the situation that we have been navigating through. And I said to him, I said, I went to the beach the other day and I walked up and I saw this old couple and I thought to myself, how beautiful that is that they made it to be that age and they're just hanging out, chilling at the
Mm,
beach and they're just living their life, and it's like, what a gift. And I told him in the exact words, I said, you know, some people really, truly, so many people wake up and they're not even thankful to be here. And it's like, I get it, you know, it's hard sometimes. Sometimes it's hard a lot of times, but
Mm,
when we can shift to being just grateful that, and I mean genuinely, not just say I'm grateful for my life and I'm grateful, whatever. No, really being grateful. Like, don't make it to where you have to almost die to be grateful. Be
mm,
grateful because you breathe. Be great. I was working as a nurse, and you know what? I learned gratitude also from, I had patients that literally could barely breathe.
mm,
They were on CPAP machine and oxygen machine and all kinds of things, right? And I left when COVID started because I had to get away from all that. And then the shots and all the things, right? I had to immediately get away from all that. So
mm,
so I learned so much in that experience though, because it's like I watched so many people suffer and I said, you know what? Yeah, I've been through a lot of things. A lot, a lot more than people could ever imagine. But guess what? These people in these beds, most of them are going to be in those beds till they literally die.
mm,
I get to leave this hospital and walk around and live my life and go home. I get to sleep in my own bed. I get to kiss my children at night. I get to raise them. I get to do all these things. I can go wherever I want to go, and I have $5. I'm going to walk somewhere, but I can go somewhere, you know? And it's like, oh my God, we have so much to be thankful for every single day. And I was thankful even being in a hotel because I had a roof over my head, and it wasn't the best hotel, but I had a roof over my children's head. I had food for them to eat. I could cook. I could do things that people sleeping on the street can't do. You know, it's like always being grateful, genuinely grateful is so important, because all that truly does for you is amplify and amplify and amplify into the universe, and the universe says, oh, you're thankful, let me boomerang that energy back to you and give you more to be thankful for. And trust me, I went through the opposite. I complained because I was being abused, and guess what? I got more of.
mhm. And that's why you're and that's what makes you who you are today. That's why you help people. That's why you teach, 'cause we come from a deep, ignorant place, but that's the best that we knew, right? It's
Right.
a pure ignorance. It's like you really didn't know. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't really know that gratitude and thanksgiving would be so transformative when it's deep and genuine, right?
Right. And that's why you make so much impact when you do these things that you do on live, and just being present, and you're sharing your pearls of wisdom and the things that come through you from wherever in the universe that it comes each moment. But it's like people feel your authenticity, and for me authenticity is number one besides love. It's like literally hand in hand, because if your love is not authentic, then you don't have authenticity, right?
It takes time to learn authenticity because sometimes we have been taught to, like, maybe going to the church or temple, dress nice,
Yeah.
smile, speak pretty words, but behind the scenes, we're lazy. We only serve God on Sundays, or we only serve when there's money involved. We
Mhm.
only do free work when because it's good marketing for our yoga studio or it gets us to sell more tickets. And so the amount to stay authentic, in the beginning, sometimes it feels very lonely because it's hard to find. There's authentic people out there, but leaders who are authentic may be difficult to find because you can easily be corrupted by money because we do need it, but we can also lead with love first.
Yes. My thing for us, I feel we stand more in our power, you and I, and those who very few can, I can say, are aligned. I can say I stand in my power because I've had many opportunities over the years to be like leader of this company, leading these people, mastermind group, multi-level marketing things, people who were millionaires. Why are you not a millionaire yet? Because I'm teaching them things that they're, quote, upline and master people don't even teach them. And it's like, because I don't want your money. Your money is not clean. And I don't want to lie to people so I can get more money, because then I'm spending money that I don't even feel good about. I don't want that.
Mhm.
I could have been doing stuff in Hollywood. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a part of that. That's gross. That's
Mm.
not aligned with me. So even though I've lived in humbleness and what people call poverty, I'm more richer and wealthier than most people in this world because I understand that love is the biggest currency and divine energy is the biggest currency. And if I'm okay and I can feed my children and I have a little bit of something to sustain my body and clean water and I have a roof over our head, then I'm wealthy. Having more
Mm.
money just to me means like I get to help more people. It's not like what can I do for me? Yeah, it's fun to get all the things, right? The pretty tapestries and stuff.
Mhm.
I got that on like Timo or something, machine.
Yeah,
You know?
everyone's at a different stage of cultivation, and this is why in the beginning we're more about making spiritual purchases, and that's part of it, right? Spiritual ego, it's the beginning, and absolutely when you first start, we, everyone is special. And but for us to truly believe in ourselves, maybe it takes time to realize what is your gift, what is your calling, what is your purpose. And on the journey to developing your purpose, we should feel special about ourselves because it's difficult to cultivate and bring out the the self-belief and self-confidence because there's so many things that make you doubt yourself, which is like your family or
Yes.
society thinks you're wild. Is my son turning into Christian, or like because sometimes our the people that love us just thinks we're going the absolutely wrong way, and having confidence and believing in ourselves is so important. But to stay humble, again, it comes back to being humble, that sometimes we have a bigger ego because it makes us believe. So it's not bad to have an ego. We just have to learn to check the ego and
Right.
use the ego, or else that ego begins to use us and we begin to chase money and become attached to comfort. Like we don't need three cars unless we actually do.
Yeah. Right. That's what I teach my children and also any of the people that I teach with my spiritual practice. I always master your mind or your mind will master you, master your emotion or your emotion will master you. Um, to what you said, I wanted to ask you to because it's like it's basically a segue into one of the things I was going to ask you, and this is for the people listening and also for the people that will listen, is for those who are in the awakening process. I don't want to keep you too long, but for those who are in the awakening process and they are dealing with maybe things that you have dealt with, I know I have dealt with, family that doesn't really fully understand them. Maybe they have different ideals for them. Maybe they're just the family is not spiritually minded or their friends or whatever. But the people that are awakening, because there are so many more now, because this is the time and the era on the planet that we're in is the awakening process. What would your words of encouragement and also guidance, if you feel any, to give to them on staying the course and following the path and just um, understanding that yes, sometimes it does feel lonely, but
Mhm.
to give them encouragement to have more hope. Um, my middle name is actually Hope. But to have more hope in like, look, it does get better. You just really have to trust in your heart and your soul to lead you in the right direction. Maybe just something from you to them on that.
Literally love your damn self. Don't depend on any love outside of yourself because it's not reliable. Because if you never rely on love outside of you, and you rely on love within, it's always available.
Mhm.
Yes, there's people who are supportive, but if you need them to be there and they don't show up, you get disappointed every time. Healers, light workers, even your best friend, when you expect them to show up, they don't, you get really disappointed. So expect nothing from anyone else but yourself. And but also we have to stay humble. Right? We
Yes,
have to stay humble. Like, yes, you're doing it yourself, but we're realize that asking for help is okay too. Right?
yes,
Do the best that you can and give it to God. Give it to the universe. There's some things you can't figure out. Don't just stare and surrender. I think the word surrender, when you've done the best that you can and you can't figure it out, take a break from trying to figure it out and just meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes not trying to figure out will help you make space for a new door to arrive. But sometimes our intention is trying to fix something when something new wants to come. Maybe it's like when we keep trying to fix that old car, but the universe is trying to bring you a new car. But all we
Right.
think is old car, old boyfriend, old job, old life. And the moment we're like, I don't even know, boom,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing, right? But of course, do the best that you can before you start surrendering. Because some people like it's difficult. No, 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 no. No, yeah, no, no, yeah. You barely just started trying, right?
Right.
So you gotta ground. You have to be willing to do the work, and for a while, right? And whenever you have done the best, and you have tried and tried and tried, me, I commit to things for at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
I commit to one like if I'm gonna be a massage therapist, I'm gonna commit for at least a year or two, right? But if I'm serious about it, it'll be 2 to 3 years. Right? Because you're not gonna learn much within the first year. But as
Right.
you commit and like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. So don't just give up. So like when we say try, try for a while because when you're trying something, the universe is trying to teach you something in everything that you do. But when we
Yeah.
give up too quickly, we don't learn from anything because we learn from the growing pain. We learn from the struggle. When things are too easy, the ego always wants comfort because that's what the
Mm-hmm.
ego likes. But when we're willing to keep pushing when things are difficult, we learn something, and that's why we're here talking from real life experience, not just read book only.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. Thank you very much for that. And I've personally witnessed a lot of the I already tried your way and it didn't work. So that doesn't work for me. And it's like I really sometimes just want to say, you have no idea how hard my ass has been handed to me over and over and over again for me to get to the level of purity that I channel literally from the entire universe into this physical vessel that I have here to bring it out of my mouth to you and impart this guidance to you that I asked to bring forth for you. I don't care what you do with it. I want the best for you because I brought this forth to help you, but don't come to me and say, well, I already tried that and it didn't work for me. It's like, well, why don't you try again? Why don't you give it real time? Why don't you, you know, give it time to sink into this right here before you decide? You didn't even get to this part. It didn't even get into your heart yet. Like, at least adopt it as a possible belief system that can be a reality for you, that can work for you before you just say, okay, well, I meditated and that didn't do anything. And I said that I release all these karmic ties from this person and I no longer feel angry with them. And so now I still feel mad. So it didn't work. It's like, okay, things happen in layers.
Yeah.
They happen with
That's
time.
yeah. When we first start practicing gratitude, it's not just on Thanksgiving, you know?
Right.
Or some people just, I've been doing positive affirmations for just a month. Do you think
Right.
but imagine like for to find result, it may take you a whole year or two. But imagine after committing for 2 years, your consciousness, it blooms slowly.
Yes.
And so many people, like the ego again, the damn ego just wants thing to be take the pill, fix it something. You pay for it, you get the service. But with your spiritual, with your karmic, energy, it takes time because energy, when you have a lot of negative energy or things that, baggage, it takes time to let go, right? Because if you let go of it's impossible to let go of all your baggage one time unless you do amazing, intense work, right? But of course, there's always going to be the ego wants to hear, just let go one time and it'll be easy. Nope, things
Mhm.
are going to come to the surface and rise. So some people think I'm I've already done positive affirmation. I've tried meditation, and like, what do you mean you try? It's a lifelong practice, not just like, you know, just only when you go to yoga studio or when you stream with that bald guy online. You know?
Oh, there's a train. Um, I, uh, it's a soul laugh. It's just a soul laugh. I appreciate you so much. Um, I have to just,
You
it's
gotta
like,
crack
do you
jokes.
under, sorry, I'm just like, they have no idea. The thing too, on that, I just have to say, is like, you're either, as you said, you can do really powerful, amazing work, or you die. That's the only way you're gonna let go of all of it at the same time. The thing that I try to tell people is this. It took many years for you to develop the layers of the complex trauma, belief system,
Mm,
programs, things that are literally in your energetic field, your blueprint, right? You developed
yeah,
these from when you were born.
mm,
So you're not going to release all this stuff in one moment, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. It's going to take really going to take a long time. And this is why I have to say to people, I'm not discouraging anybody from the path of what we call here enlightenment or awakening or ascending and all the things that are genuinely happening. It's just you need to understand. And I'm going to say you need to understand because you do need to understand. And I don't often say that phrase. It is a lifelong commitment. This is not a phase. You cannot go into this as a phase because even if you do, you're
yeah.
going to shift regardless, and you're going to be in a whole hell of a lot of shit that you don't even want to deal with because now you're in the whole river of all the things that you're trying to release and you already started the process. So now that you start the process, you're dealing with all kinds of stuff. You're
Mm,
seeing it in reflections in your physical reality. Maybe your father was abusive to you. Now you're seeing men being abusive to you. I'm dealing with stuff like that. And I've already done years, and I mean literally 17 straight years of constant spiritual work. And this is not, I'm not complaining. I'm saying truly, you have to understand this is lifelong. This is forever until you die. You're always in your spiritual journey. You're always in your path. And you're never going to get to one day where everything is perfect all the time. And this is the thing that we have to get people in the mind to understand.
yeah.
You're never going to get that. So the sooner you can accept that, you're going to find your peace so fast because the world's still going to be crazy. There's still going to be crazy people in the world. There's still going to be all kinds of stuff going on that we don't like to even look at, feel, deal with, recognize, even exist. And you can meditate every moment of your day. And you know what? There's still going to be stuff that you're not going to want to have to deal with. So until you find your center and until you truly find your peace within, you are always going to be searching outside. You're
Yeah,
always
in
going to be
with
looking.
The Buddha said, you can either spin the wheel of samsara, sadness, ignorance, anger, or you can spin the dharma wheel, which is live a holy life. And even though the negativity happens, the holy thing is your life. But sometimes we don't, it's so simple that we miss it because just breathing, when whenever I realize just breathing, that we waking up today is a miracle, and I actually like sat with what that meant, that just existing itself is holy. And
Mm-hmm.
I always remember there's more people who has passed away than people who are alive.
Yes.
So when we just remember the simple miracle of waking up today, but of course we have, when we come into this world of desire and attachment, it teaches you like you need the white picket fence, the white dress. 15, when you're 15, you're gonna get that quinceañera, right? When you're 21, you're gonna go out and drink, get lost, you're gonna go on these vacations, and we could do all of it and still not find true happiness.
Mm.
And so we call that midlife crisis, and we can either wake up or go back to sleep. And when we go back to sleep, after, like, because when you get a taste of awakening, it's hard to go back to sleep because it's so beautiful. And so a lot of it is being assisted by plant teachers and plant medicine, and many people may get stuck at that training wheel. So
Hmm.
there's a training wheel that happens through either meditation, plant medicine, sound healing, but the real work is within. Like all of it leads to us being here in this moment, enjoying the purity of now, and that I am enough. Thank you so much for my life. I am enough.
And if people truly practice that daily, even if it's just a few times a week, can you imagine how much peace, how much real peace people would feel? But it's like I gotta be on TikTok and I gotta be on this, I gotta scroll and I gotta watch the next video and I gotta do the next thing. TikTok is beautiful. It's connecting the whole world. You are capable of doing your work here. All of that is absolutely amazing, but we have to get the goal for the goal for a lot of us who are doing this, and I can say it's a very small percentage, but the goal is to bring back mindfulness to exactly what you just said. The more we practice self-control of getting the brain to turn off the need to be constantly occupying itself with new and new and new and
Yeah.
just quiet and sit, and even 5 minutes of your day being in absolute gratitude for your literal physical being that you have here, that you're inhabiting, living in, and experiencing this world with, that you're capable of being healthy, that you're capable of healing if you're not, that you even have this experience to touch, taste, feel, sense, smell the world around you. If you're only in spirit form, you can't even do that. You can't eat the chocolate. You can't
Mhm.
taste the, the food that you want to taste because you don't have that body. A lot of souls want to experience that. And we're in the body for only a short period of time. So when we're here, it's like, enjoy it. Literally just enjoy it. And we're so programmed to not enjoy it that we don't, people, just that simple thing that you said, literally just, I'm thankful for my body. I'm
Yes.
thankful for this life. And then really just feel it. Those two sentences right there. Just feel
Well,
it.
this is why whenever you serve from love instead of for money, it forces you to need to be amazing to make an impact.
Right,
Well, if you just sell a ticket to go to a sound bath and all you do is the same sound bath every time, you
right.
don't grow because all you're getting is you're just offering a product and they pay for it. But if you do a bad job, nobody will show up. But if they have to pay for it, they'll show up still because 'cause they're paying some value in exchange for a good sound bath, and if it's not good, right, some people will still come because they think paying a certain amount they're gonna get, but if you do it for free, it forces you to have to be excellent. And it's hard
Absolutely.
to be excellent when the thing that pretends to be excellent is you pay $111 for a full reading and people expect excellent reading. So whatever they get, they assume is a good reading because they don't know what is excellent reading. And so the practitioner also don't know because we can be clouded by the value that we put on healing work, and miracles may not be happening, but at least it's better than not doing anything, which is why I always say that because there's a lot of people doing spiritual work for money, and I'm not trying to piss people off all the time.
Yeah. Well, we also need people to understand who hear this that and I know a lot of people do understand, but we are energetic beings and the physical body is also energetic being. So when you're speaking on sound bath and things like that, I want people to fully understand, as you also do bring this message forth all the time, is really pay attention to how you feel, and I mean in every little nuance of the energy of a person doing energy work online or in person, and these sound baths and singing bowls, because your body, if it feels uncomfortable when you first experience that energy, immediately disengage. Not all sound baths and singing bowl and sound healing events or people are for your highest good, and it's not their fault. It's not that they're doing something, quote, wrong. They just have not achieved a level of purity in their vessel and their energy field yet to bring forth divine love, pure divine love and pure divine light. This is why I myself have been drawn to you in times where I was experiencing hard times. And it's like 3 people I can count on one hand that I will even go towards their energy because it suits me. That's why I say I respect you so much, because it's like I recognize you, and 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 I don't let anybody's energy touch me unless I know it's truly of pure light.
Mhm.
And
I
also,
am the same way, yeah, I'm absolutely the same way.
I you have to be. You really have to be, because you work so hard to get to the purity that you're at, that it's like you cannot let anything, even though it's not their fault, you cannot let anything or anybody dirty your energy, because then you have to work so much harder just to get rid of their stuff, and it's not even their fault. It's our choice to expose ourselves to it. We wanted to give them a chance, but at the end of the day, we have to know what's good for us and what's not, and that's where the discernment comes in. It's like, yes, it's a sound bath, and that's awesome. I think that's great. Whoever aligns to them, that's for them. But if it's not pure and it does not feel good, please just understand that you have to have so much discernment, because not all healing is healing. And I wanted to say something that came to me, and it's crazy. Like, I've thought about this a long time ago, but it came to me when you were talking about there's more people that are not alive than alive on the planet. Being an older soul, and I'm just now getting more open to talking about that. At the game, I got a strong vision. I thought about this. So for those of you who understand past lives, or the fact that your soul incarnates over and over again, not just on this planet, but all over the cosmos, right? Um, I thought something came to me so strong. Uh, it was if you think about it like this, you have bodies like skeletons of a past life, or more than one, right now on the planet, of a person you were. And if you can think about it like that, it's so weird, right? But if you can think about it like that, and you realize, like, when I was that person, I probably didn't do everything that I really wanted to do in that life. So how can I really do them justice, and really try to do my best in this one, right? And if you can have that, it's a weird thing to think about, right? But if you can think about it like that, like if you can just be like, you know what, I know I didn't give all that I could in those ones.
Mhm.
I feel like I gave as much as I could given the circumstances, but we're in a totally different time period now. Like, we're literally in the middle of ascension. That's why we came here. And I've came up with excuses like, well, I couldn't do this because I have 4 kids, and I couldn't do this because of that. And I couldn't, well, right now, they're just, oh, well, I was literally considered homeless living in a hotel. And I started my podcast on hotel Wi-Fi that kept cutting out. I said, no excuse. My guys are telling me this is time. My higher self says this is time. This is time. The universe says it's time. Okay, I'm gonna record in my car, I guess, and I started it. And you know what happened after I started it? I got a phone call while I was on the phone with somebody that does angelic work, and she's very old soul. And I was in the middle of conversation with her, and I said, I haven't told anybody this, but I've been living in a hotel with my family, and I'm having faith the home will come. In the middle of the conversation, she said, you know what? I have a feeling it's all going to work out. It's going to happen sooner than you think. I get a phone call. Hey, Jessica, I just wanted to let you know that we had another family in line for this house, but actually they backed out. So I wanted to offer it to you. I know wholeheartedly that it's because I finally took the step. And this is why I want to say to people, even if you're going through a hard time right now, and even if it feels like I have no idea what's gonna happen and how it's all gonna work out, and it feels really, really hard right now, I just want you to know it does get better, but you have to listen to your soul, and you have to follow your heart, because your soul is always leading you in the right direction. And if you just trust and you take the steps and you trust the universe and you say, look, universe, source, God, whatever you want to say, look, show me the way, open the right doors, bring the
Yes.
right people to me, and I trust your path, and I trust it's for my highest good. When I said that and I said, look, I surrender, I literally said, I put my white flag up, you do what you're going to do. That's when it all came in.
For
So
sure.
trust your path.
For sure. Yeah. It's sometimes we're in a way we're trying so hard to figure it out. And this is again surrendering after you have tried, right? You're trying the best that you can and then you surrender. But the trying part is do the best that you can. And when you're at your limit, let go. Because at that limit is because your faith is being pushed to the max. But even
Totally.
at that limit, you still believe. That's like, and that's the leap of faith. It's like, I thought you were there for me, God. And then out of
Hmm.
nowhere, bing, you're like, oh yeah, because your faith needs to get tested. Like you're in the situation you're in to strengthen your faith. And sometimes we get to near death experiences. We're in a hellhole because you know why? When you can rise from a dark place, you can help others rise from a dark place too.
Hmm. And that's, I with every part of my being, I agree with you, but I'm so done with
Yes.
dark places.
Well, yes, we're done, but then helping others is even more difficult because we have to do things with mastery. This is why all the discipline that we have, because some people they come to you and they're in a dark place and it looks difficult, but all you do is like when we make things look easy, many people don't realize how much like the all the years of meditation not nobody see it make that moment look so simple. How much patience you have
Yes.
because because your faith is unmoving. Because
Yeah.
why? Of the years of that you used to be sad yourself and you still decide to believe at the end. And then you realize, man, if I just believed earlier, it would have been easier. But no, we
No,
needed to
exactly.
resist the patience for so long. And then eventually the word surrender.
Right.
Why the ego just doesn't surrender? Because like I'm trying to make things work. How can I just surrender and things work? And then when the ego gets tired, it surrenders and things work out. You're like, wait, what?
Yes, absolutely. And the thing for me is, I know my path is individual and it's different, but because everybody has their own path for their own reason. But and I don't say I'm tired of the dark places. I'm dealing
Yeah.
with other people. It's just my own. I just have had so many years of. I had somebody tell me I was a master a long time ago. He said, well, the brightest lights go into the darkest places. And I said,
Mm,
yes, I understand. I do. I know. My thing is I just, I just really am at a point where I feel so many beings here who did come here to do the work, and I feel like a lot of people can relate. It's like when does the peace come? When does the all the things that w- I know for me is different because I've done work every single day for so many, 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 many years. I never stop. I never take a day where I don't do spiritual work, right? But it's like for I see the reflection of the people feeling like, well, when does the peace happen? Well, when does the good part happen? Well, when does it get better? And this is where I just want to remind people that our brain, even though you might not realize it's your brain that's doing it, and this is part of what you mean by the ego, um, because they're interconnected, right? The brain and the ego are, um, is the one that often is like your body and your brain is constantly looking for comfort. So if like your outer circumstances are like not creating comfort for you, right? And then like the world is doing all this crazy stuff and you don't like it, so you don't want to see it. It's not comfortable for you. Your partner may not be doing things that you like and it's not comfortable for you. Your children are not listening.
Mm,
Your stress situation at your job is stressing you out. And all these things are filling up in your cup with stress, 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 upset, stress, stress, stress. And you're not cleansing properly and you're not taking time for you and you're not sitting in gratitude and you're not truly even holding space for the
mm,
love within yourself, right? All that feels very chaotic and heavy. So how do you take time to truly just find that gratitude? How do you even feel or find gratitude when you're literally so inundated with all this external and internal stress? The answer is find something that helps you fully release the energy of stress inside your body, whether that's sage, whether that's peaceful music, whether that's listening to you on TikTok live, whether that's going to the water and
mm,
submerging yourself in the water, taking some salt into the shower and cleansing your body and your temple with salt
mm,
to alchemize all that stuck, stagnant, negative energy, going to the ocean. Whatever it is that helps you, do that thing, do all of them as many times as you can until you feel some level of peace inside of you enough to sit. And when you can sit inside that peace and you can have a little bit of time to yourself to just have quiet, even if you have kids, I'm a mom, I get it. You say, hey, I need 5 minutes. You can go sit in your car, but you just 5 minutes or more and you put your little headphones in and you put on peaceful music or whatever it is, and you just sit in silence and you say to yourself, I am truly grateful that I woke up today. I am truly grateful that I have a healthy body. And I'm truly grateful for everybody in my life that I love and loves me. And that's enough. And when you can do that, that's where, as you said, the lotus blooms. That's where the enlightenment happens. That's where the awakening happens, right? Because now you're feeling a sense of alignment with your soul,
mm,
your life purpose, and with your path. Because now you've quieted everything down and cleansed enough of the, you know what, out to
mm.
just have some clarity. And when you can have clarity, you can have peace. And I tell people all the time, I tell my partner as well, if you can't feel happy right now, don't feel peace. If you can't feel joy, feel peace. And you'll find your way eventually to the happy. But you cannot feel happy from anger. You're never going to get there. So you just have to find your way to peace.
Mm.
Whatever you have to do, you got to do it. You have to make time for yourself to do that thing and stop making excuses because you're never going to get there if you do. And that's one of the most important things that I can say today.
Yes.
And that's why I want to say thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sister Jessica. Thank you for the discussion. Thank you for engaging, and thank you for you doing your work. We're just doing where we're called to serve, whether it's TikTok, in person. We need people who to serve everywhere. And in difficult places, it's not easy to be online. There's so much energy,
Hmm.
but this is where the mainstream consciousness is, and I sign up for it. I love it because it's really difficult. It's really difficult. Yeah.
You do amazing though. And honestly, your grounding is impeccable. I mean, goals.
Because you have to, right? Because right now, the stream right now needs some grounding. So thank you, sister.
I want to
Yes.
say, I want to say, I'm normally not so fiery. I've been through so much recently. It's like really activated my fire because I'm like, I don't like people messing with my children and their peace. So it's like has me on edge. I'm just like, get
Mm,
away, you know? Like I'm like, keep that out. But normally I'm actually very peaceful. So you got to meet me in person this lifetime in a totally weird situation, but I have a lot to be grateful for. And so
yes.
I'm
Again,
counting my blessings.
yeah, you can lead, you can do the work anywhere in any condition, but do the work for you first.
Absolutely. Thank you. Is so I wanted to give you Do you have a closing message for everybody before we close the podcast for today?
Always remember you are enough. Be thankful every day genuinely and really stay humble. Okay. Like just stay humble because when you can be really humble, it's better to be overly humble because when you're overly humble, you also eventually will you have to check your humble. Sometimes we're so humble that we're not useful. We're playing too humble.
Yes.
So you have to pay attention to the middle path. It's good to be humble, but some people are playing humble. The ego comes out through being humble too. But that's a rare case, but it's happening. So it's better to just have that rare case rather than not check your ego at all.
So balancing your soul. So for those who are mastering their life path and on the spiritual path, balancing your inner master, which is the part of
Yeah.
creator, with your humbleness
Yeah.
is the key
Yeah.
because
At the end of the day, I don't know anything. God knows, the universe knows. I'm just a
right.
open channel. And the moment you think you know, check your ego. Yes, like it's okay that we're here to serving, but when you are humble enough that you don't know everything, because our puny little mind is nothing compared to what's beyond, but we don't know what's beyond. But when we're with that not knowing presence, maybe we're connecting to something greater, and this is why checking the ego is something that many spiritual practitioners it's great to do often because when you don't have a teacher, a master, or someone to check your ego, a lot of people will just again lose themselves to money because community. When you have a teacher, the teacher humbles you, checks your ego if you don't, because many people don't know how to check their own ego, and then the whole community collapses.
Hmm. Mm. I gotta say, you're saying so many of my words that I've said for so many years, and I always say I know everything and I know nothing at all. And another phrase came to me real quick is my brother. He's very old soul. If you ever see this, I love you. Um, he he had a book. I think it was Siddhartha's book, but it was the journalings of the Buddha, and one of his the transcriptions. It was in English. He said it was called a beginner's mind, I think is the book. But he said, "Oh, a true master is always a student." And of course, this was many years ago, but I always carry that with me to remind, even when I trained people, when I was still doing Reiki and stuff like that. Of course, I do my healing work, but I don't call it Reiki because I've transcended and evolved to here. And I bring it from the higher realm into the physical. But another story for another time. But I always teach my students, even when I brought them to master level, I say, to be a true master, you must always have a beginner's mind, and you must always remember that you're a student of the universe. Because if you, as you said, the moment that you get to the point where you feel like you already know and you've developed these solid belief systems, that again, as you said, is the ego. And when we get too solidified in the belief that we already know, then we cannot have an opening to learn that everything we already know is just a very small fractal of this little experience that we have here in the bigger cosmos
Mm.
in life itself. So thank you for that. I just wanted to share that piece in there. Thank you so
Oh,
much for
thank you.
being on, and
Of course,
I truly
sister.
appreciate you.
And I hope you have a wonderful day, sister. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, you as well.